The players who consistently climb in rank aren't just more skilled, they see the game differently. While most players wait for lucky teammates or easy matchups, these players take control of what they can. They don't need perfect conditions to win. They don't rely on teammates to carry. Instead, they focus on their own mindset, movements, and decisions, especially when things aren't going their way. In this video, I will tell you 8 things the average player needs to understand in Mobile Legends. Things that can seriously change how you play and help you level up your overall gameplay. Number 1. Discipline is more powerful than excitement. There are moments where the game pulls you in emotionally. A chance to chase, a low health enemy, a risky play that looks tempting, and most players follow those emotions. They make the quick decision that feels right in the moment, not realizing they just gave away control. That's where discipline becomes more powerful than hype. Being able to ignore the emotional pull and focus on what's actually smart is a skill most average players never develop. Discipline means backing off, even if it feels like you could get one more hit. It means waiting for the right time instead of diving in just because it feels good. It's walking away from a bad trade, saying no to unnecessary fights, and choosing stability over flashiness. A player with strong discipline might not always look exciting, but they win more games because they make fewer mistakes. If you want to climb and grow, learn to quiet the noise inside and play with purpose, not with impulse. Number 2, you must learn how to play from behind. A lot of players feel confident when they're ahead, when the team is winning and everything feels smooth. But the real test of skill isn't what you do when things are easy. It's what you do when things start falling apart, when the enemy is pressuring your lanes, when you're losing objectives, when your allies are tilted. That's where your mindset matters most. Instead of panicking, the better players stay calm and look for slow, smart ways to hold on. You have to understand that every match has momentum, and that momentum can shift. You don't need to rush. You don't need to force fights that aren't in your favor. You just need to stay composed and wait for the enemy to make a mistake, which they will if you're patient. Defend properly, protect your base, and hold vision. Even when you're behind, you're never completely out unless you give up. Playing from behind is a skill, and the more you develop it, the more comeback wins you'll create. Number 3, you don't need to win every lane to win the game. It's common for players to feel like if they lose their lane or fall behind early, the game is already done, but that's just not true. Mobile Legends is a game of many phases, and the early game is just one of them. You can have a slow start and still become a major part of your team's success later. What really matters is how you recover, how you adapt, and how you support the team from that point forward. Sometimes losing your lane teaches you how to play safer, how to rotate better, or how to help others while staying useful. You don't need to force yourself into risky fights just to win back your lane. Instead, shift your focus to smart positioning, strong vision, and better timing. The match isn't about dominating from the beginning. It's about adapting and making the best out of every situation. You don't need to win the start, you just need to understand how to stay relevant until the end. Number 4, communication without chat is a real skill. Not everyone uses mic, not everyone types, but that doesn't mean communication stops there. Real communication in MLBB happens through actions. How you move, how you position, how you ping, how you respond to your team. You don't need to say anything to show your intentions. If you move with purpose, if you group at the right time, if you ping the right moments, people will follow. Your decisions speak louder than your words. Most average players just play for themselves and hope everyone else keeps up. But if you want to lead, even silently, you have to play in a way that makes sense to the team. That means timing your actions with the flow of the match, not splitting off when everyone's grouping, and learning when to back off without needing to say it. Communication without chat is a quiet form of leadership. When your gameplay is clear, your team becomes more connected, and that can change the entire match. Number 5. Greed is the hidden reason for many losses. One of the most common mistakes that never shows up on a scoreboard is greed. Not the obvious kind, like going after kills, but the quiet, subtle kind. Staying too long to farm just one more wave, chasing too far just to get one more thing, ignoring the team because you want that last buff. These small decisions often seem harmless, but they slowly unravel your team's structure, especially when done at the wrong time. Greed makes players forget the timing of the game. It clouds judgment. You think you're gaining something, but what you're really doing is creating vulnerability. You're not there when your team fights. You're late to rotations. You leave lanes open. The truth is, many matches are lost not because of bad fights, but because one player got greedy at the wrong moment. The more you can recognize greed in your own play, the more you can prevent it, and the more stable and consistent you'll become. Number 6. Every small decision adds up later. It's easy to think the only things that matter are the big moments, the flashy kills, the team fights, the objectives. But the reality is, most of those moments are decided long before they even happen. They're built on small choices made throughout the game. The path you took, the time you rotated, the position you held, whether you recalled 1 second earlier or stayed just a bit too long. Every little thing you do shapes the match. If you take time to review your games and look at those small decisions, you'll start to see a pattern. Some losses weren't because the team was bad. It was because one small decision snowballed into a disadvantage. That's why attention to detail is so powerful. The average player shrugs off these small things, but the smart player looks deeper. If you want more control over your matches, start thinking about what you're doing between the big plays, because that's where most games are actually won or lost. Number 7. Confidence must come from understanding, not ego. A lot of players mistake ego for confidence. They think being loud, aggressive, or always trying to lead means they're strong players. But real confidence isn't about dominating, it's about understanding. When you truly know the game, when you've studied the map, practiced your decision making, and learned from your past mistakes, you start to feel confident. Not because you think you're right, but because you know why you're doing what you're doing. Ego makes you take unnecessary risks. It makes you ignore your team. It makes you believe you're always right, even when you're clearly not. But when your confidence is built on actual knowledge, you don't need to prove anything. You just play. You stay calm under pressure. You don't panic. You don't force. You trust your timing, your positioning, your game sense. That kind of quiet confidence is what carries games, even when things get tough. Number 8. If you're not improving, you're repeating. Sometimes players wonder why they're stuck, why they can't rank up even after hundreds of games. The truth is, playing more doesn't always mean getting better. If you're not learning, you're just repeating the same patterns. You're practicing the same mistakes over and over. Improvement only comes when you pause after a match and actually reflect what worked, what didn't, and what you'll try differently next time. The players who grow fast are the ones who treat every match like a lesson. They're not just playing, they're watching, observing, adjusting. Even after a win, they ask what could have been done better. Even after a loss, they don't just blame the team, they look inward. If you want to rise above average, stop autopiloting through games. Be intentional, be curious. Look for areas to improve and be honest with yourself, because the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop moving forward. And that's the truth. These are the things the average player doesn't always see, but once you start seeing them, the whole game starts to change. It's not about playing harder, it's about thinking smarter, more awareness, more discipline, more patience, more growth. No shortcuts, just small steps every day. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. Keep learning, stay calm, and enjoy the process. You're on the right path. Thanks for watching, I hope you learned something, and if you do, don't forget to subscribe.